Hello and welcome to Wild Soul Gatherings. I'm Dr. Sandra Marie and I'll be your host for Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious. I'm very grateful for all you wild souls out there who've decided to join us today. I want to send a special thanks to each of you for taking time out of your day to join us and our guests as we talk about the many aspects of spirituality. To receive updates on our latest episodes, please subscribe and follow Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious. A positive rating and comment is always appreciated. In the tradition of Happy Hour, cheers to some new insights, peace, revitalization, perhaps an aha moment that will positively influence your life. Yeah, I think everything sounds good. Wow, what a production we just had. So welcome to Wild Souls Gathering. Our production manager today was Penny the astrologer.
Ooh.
And man, did you do a hell of a job. That was, I don't know, you didn't hit record on the video until after that whole fiasco. But I'm going to go with nice.
All right.
That would have been good for bloopers.
You're right.
It would have been great for
We turned on
bloopers.
record too late.
That we did. So that being said, welcome to Wild Soul Gatherings and this episode of Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious. Today we are bringing together the Wild Soul podcast team that we have of Penny Petys, our astrologer, and Mark Robinson, our medical intuitive, who does energetic restructuring out, but it is not on the website, but I do think that they can go to Amazon and get it at this point in time. More to come on that.
Yep. Okay.
What are we talking about today?
Real quick, let me say the title of the book when they go to Amazon, because if it's not on the website yet, it's called...
I know what the name of it is. It's called Simple Super Astrology Guide. I got it wrong again? Doggone it.
Super Simple Astrology Guide. Penny Petys. Super Simple Astrology Guide. Simple. It sounded, I don't know. We'll have to listen.
Well, it's definitely simple because I gave it a read through and I pretty much understood everything in a way that was so obvious, and surprised that I struggled for so many years learning it and I could have just read your book.
Oh, great.
There you go.
Thanks, Mark. That's why I created it, actually. But anyway, so super
the world
simple.
Thanks you.
Oh, thank you. All right, so go ahead. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. So let's talk about that. What do you mean you're sorry? Why are you apologizing? What kind of energy did you just put out there for your book?
Oh, my goodness.
What a great...
You're apologizing for your book. Like, how does this work with manifestation and what you're putting
That's
out
right.
there?
What a great segue into the topic tonight, the power
Cancel,
of words.
clear. I'm canceling what I just said, and I'm clearing it. That's what I say. Cancel, clear. So, yeah, the topic of words today. You didn't even introduce it yet, but we started out with a bang. Good catch. So we're going to bring it up soon, but that's what Sandra and I have done for years. We're accountability partners in the words we choose and the words we say because it carries energy.
And I have to tell you, it can get pretty intense, guys. So if you're, into the spiritual and the manifestation, words are vibration, and creations come from our thoughts, and then we bring them into form with our vibrations and our words. So that's part of it. So when we were in the Middle East working together, we got into doing our gratitudes. And as we would sit there and just chat about anything and everything, we would talk about words. And Penny would say, do you know how many times a day you say you're killing me? And I was like, I never say that. And she's like, you say that all the time. And then every time I would say it, she goes, there you go. You just said it. You just said it. You just said it again.
Yes, I did.
And then I thought there was a movie about some kids playing baseball, I think, that I used to enjoy. I don't remember the name of it. And there's a line in there that says, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. And I always would say that. But I never really thought of the effect of those words and how that worked. And before we get into the meat of this, I feel the need to share this story. The one day I was, oh my God, and now you're going to see the problem of these accountability problems. I was having, I'm just going to say it, a bad day. And I was probably getting a little out of control emotionally at work. And you said, you know what? Right now, this is it. I want 6 gratitudes an hour, and you're going to come back and you're going to give me 6 gratitudes an hour. So it reminded me of being in boot camp, like where someone would say, hit the floor now, 6, I want 6 push-ups from you immediately. I was rounding through the department, and I would have to come up with these 6 gratitudes an hour. It led to some really creativeness.
Yes.
But what I realized was because I was accountable to you and you weren't letting me off the hook with it, that I knew. I had to come up with legitimate things, and I had to report out on the hour. It gave me pause to think and really focus on what was positive. Now, this particular day was a growing period. I will have to say it took me about 4 hours to get out of it, but it truly did shift my mood. And at points I was like, I have nothing to be grateful today. There is nothing to be grateful. I cannot believe she's making me do this. So it would take some time to really sit there and ponder and come up with things. But as the hours went on, because of course this happened early in the shift, they came easier.
And you felt better.
And I felt better, and it shifted my mood. And even though the issues at hand did not change at all, the way I responded to the issues at hand changed dramatically.
Because your perspective changed from a negative to a positive.
Yeah.
What you think and what you say actually creates hormones in your bodies, just like Dr. Joe has taught us. And I have researched this. So when you think a positive thought or you say a positive word, you are creating the positive hormones in your body, like serotonin, oxytocin. It's the love hormone. And when you think negative thoughts or say negative things, it creates negative hormones, which ultimately cause disease. It increases your cortisol hormone, and it does. It brings you down. It also interferes with your circadian rhythm, which is why a lot of times people can't sleep at night because their mind is racing and they're worried.
I'm guilty of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like,
Yes, and your cortisol levels need to be low at night and they're high in the morning. I'm also in the medical field and I do this as I research this, but when your cortisol levels are high at night, you can't sleep. And what increases your cortisol levels is worry, anxiety, fear, negativity, negative words, and negative thoughts. So the more you think positively and say positive words, you're creating positive hormones in your body. And in turn, those frequencies and vibrations not only affect your internal cells, but your outside environment.
Wow, that's amazing. I never thought of the biology, physiology aspect of it. As an energy worker, I think vibrationally that positive words have a higher vibration that make you feel better, and negative words have a lower vibration that brings your vibration down. And it's something that you feel intuitively.
Yes. And then it can be linked scientifically.
Well, it's all linked. I love everything that we talk about. And it all dovetails together.
And it's quantum physics.
Yes.
You can't see it. You can't see. You're listening to this podcast, but you can't see the waves of energy that are creating the sound. That's how our words and our thoughts and our feelings activate and work. Also, it's quantum. It's invisible. It's just at a different vibratory frequency.
Right.
And it absolutely, and it creates emotions and feelings. So as you're listening to it, on one of my interviews I've done recently, they were talking about what's normal and the new normal, and someone said the new normal is happy, and I'm just been obsessed with the new normal is happy, so those were just words that were spoken. This person was across the country, but they have affected me.
Good.
For a week now.
That's good.
And it affects how I feel. So it's just what you said, Mark. Now, you mentioned Dr. Joe. Everyone who's listening may not know who Dr. Joe is. So he's sort of like a family member at this point.
Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Little does he know that. So to us, when we say Dr. Joe, everyone knows who he is. And you mentioned the quantum physics, but he is steeped in quantum physics in his teaching, but he certainly is not the only person.
Right.
So there's a lot of teachers and a lot of researchers out there with the quantum physics. But you want to introduce him a little bit just to the audience? I know that we will be actually dedicating a podcast to some of our experiences at his retreats and some of his work in the future. But if you could just give a little introduction.
Sure. Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's, first of all, amazing, and he impacted my life personally through his teachings and his books. And he is a doctor, and he healed himself through thoughts and meditation. 25, 30 years ago, probably by now, he broke his back and he healed himself. And after he did that, he decided to help the world. And that is what he's done the rest of his life. And he has these retreats, and he's written, what is the placebo?
He's written, one of his books is The Placebo Effect, but
the placebo.
How the brain evolves. He's got a number of books.
He has a bunch of books, but the most informative book is his most recent book, Supernatural. The Supernatural. Oh, I was going to bring that too and show it, but I didn't know we were going to absolutely talk about him. But anyway, when you go to a retreat of his, he teaches you how to meditate. He works through all of your energy centers. Some people call them chakras, but he calls them energy centers. And he teaches you how to use your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions, and you connect your brain to your heart, like the Heart Math Center, the Heart Math Institute. When you're on the same frequency and you connect your brain and your heart, whatever you feel and think, you're actually manifesting. You're putting it out into the world from 3D into 4D and 5D.
I just had an epiphany with what you said earlier about the biology and physiology of what's going on in the body. With hormones, neurons communicate with each other through chemicals. It's the chemicals that release. As you're imprinting your brain, you're creating pathways for certain thoughts or beliefs or feelings or reactions that are all based on the chemicals that you're producing as you're saying something or experiencing something.
Yes. And that is really what the law of attraction, that's how the law of attraction works. Like everyone thinks, oh, I'm just going to affirm I will be rich. I will. Well, first of all, you can't say I will. You say I am. But you attract what you're putting out there into the field. And Dr. Joe says that. So if you are working diligently during your meditation and focusing on these positive, happy emotions and thoughts and thinking love in your heart, and you're connecting the two, and you feel the love while you're thinking that, you're putting that energy, those frequencies and vibrations out into the universe, and you're bringing it back to you. So that's how the law of attraction works. So when you give love, you will receive love.
So when you're creating affirmations to manifest whatever you want to create in your future, those manifestations have to be in the present as if they've already happened.
Yes. And you think in your head as if it's already happened. So you say, I am. You never say I will or I want.
Right. I have a personal story about the I am. Back in the 80s and 90s with when New Age movement was really getting going, there was an emphasis on the I am. And I used to go down to the beach where I had privacy and soundproofing with the waves crashing in, and I would stand at the water's edge and just scream, I am God, I am God, I am God. And then no matter what mood I was in, no matter how low, foul, or depressed, by the time I was done affirming who I really was, it was like I had done a euphoric drug.
Aww.
Oh, that's amazing. So you guys have seen that movie, What the Bleep?
Yes.
I think that focuses a lot on some of the other scientists and what they did. And I know they talk about it in that movie. They talk about it in the movie Heal, is Dr. Emoto's water studies he did.
Yep, the miracle of water.
Right, imprinting water with different energies. So and what they look like when the molecules look like when they're photographed.
Right, so they look different. And I know, like in the movie The Heal, they show where he had 3 different glasses of water. And one glass of water, he would tell every day, you're bad, you're no good, I don't like you. Then there was another glass of water that he would say, oh, I love you, you're wonderful, you feel good. And then there was a third glass of water, and it was sort of like in the middle of the... I apologize. The third glass of water, this is why I can't remember, he totally ignored.
Oh.
He totally ignored it. And what was fascinating when I was reading about the study and when I've heard it repeatedly, my first thought was, of course, the glass of water that you're telling you're horrible, you're bad, you're ugly, you're terrible would have the worst effect. But the glass of water that was totally ignored actually started turning black and brown and dying.
Oh.
And they have some video of it in that movie, The Hill. The geometry in the glass of water, of course, where you were demeaning to it, it also started having an ugliness and
I was going to say.
Yes, I wanted
cloudiness
to point
about
that
it.
out too, because the
But-
photographs I remember
Are not pretty.
The negative energies, the images of the molecules were very condensed and chaotic and unattractive.
Yes, yes.
And the higher vibrational thoughts imprinted on the water created these very feathery, intricate,
Beautiful.
snowflake-like lace would be the word.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, it was beautiful.
Images of
So-
the molecule.
So what I love about it is, we have the science people and we have energetic world, but these are absolutely concrete evidences that you cannot
Dispute.
deny or dispute that it exists, that those are the power of our words, and not only the power of our words, but to me the livingness of the water, of the being ignored, shunning.
Yes.
So there are people who punish through shunning and
yes.
cultures and behaviors, even in the work setting, where they will shun and exclude people.
That's terrible.
Intentionally.
It is.
That was the most damaging of it. So there's a lot of information out. I did bring a piece of paper here that I think is one of your favorite pieces of paper. Who wants to talk to this? 'Cause
I
these
wrote
are
that.
You wrote it?
I
So,
wrote that.
I know you did. And I blew it up. And I love your little smiley face.
So for those who can't see, it's 2 columns of words. One column says, stop using.
Yes. So one of them is my big word that I have worked really hard on, and it's need. Either I need or I lead a team of people. And, I have metrics and all these other things that need to be done. And sometimes I'm having conversations with people on a one-on-one. My team, they really do have to wonder about me, and probably worry a lot, because I'll be like, you need to do this, and then I'll put my hand on my head and say, you don't need to do anything. No one needs to do anything. Or I'll say, people will say my team, and I don't use that a lot, but I get caught up with other people.
I don't understand. My team.
So I'll be talking about my team, and then I'll look at them, and I'm like, well, I don't own you. You're not my team. This is why they wonder about me and worry about me a lot, because I feel like when I say it's my team, I'm saying like I have an ownership over you.
Okay.
And I think if you're talking team and group and working together, there is no my in it, right?
So common usage of words and phrases that we're just brought up with, we don't realize the negative impact of them. So we really do need to look at what we're saying and censor it and make an effort to reframe the terminology in a positive way.
That's what this list is.
You want to go through the list? It's really big.
Well,
Or
it's
we could take turns,
it's
because there's a few words I'd like to comment on.
It's a word. It's a list of words should. I think it's on
should
there.
be in.
Should, bad
That
word.
you choose. That you choose not to use. And then there's a column of words to replace with. And funny enough, the very first one is, instead of using the word need, you use the word choose. I choose to do this, or I need to clean the house.
I think the universe is very concrete when it comes to language and vibration, and produces exactly what you're giving out.
Yep.
So if you're affirming that you need something, you're going to create the need of it. So
A lack
of something will
yes.
appear in your life. So in fact, you need it.
It's the same as when people are using the law of attraction and saying, I want to be a millionaire.
Then the universe will create the need, so you want it.
Because you're wanting it, so it's showing you have a lack of it.
And that's why
So
you
what
stay
you're
in the
creating
present.
is the want.
Yes.
As if you've already had it. Because then you're affirming or giving the message out there
Yes.
to manifest it, because you already have it.
Yes.
So we talk about that a lot of times on our little jaunts across to the beach, and we stop and you say, I want to buy a lottery ticket for when I win the lottery. And I'm like, you mean the lottery you already won?
Yes.
You'll
Yep.
be like, oh, yeah.
So at this point, I want to point out how wonderful and lucky Sandra and Penny are, because they have each other to be monitors and coaches. You know, how wonderful to have somebody sitting on your shoulder to catch you in those habits.
Yes, it
you
helps. It helps.
Makes a difference, because when we sort of got separated in our little travels there, it's not the same. So when I went to New Mexico to work in the reservations, we sort of got lost.
Because our time difference.
Yes, and then and then when we really got lost is I left the Middle East before you did. And
Right.
That's like that 8-hour time difference. But then even when we got back to it, when you were down here in Florida and I was in New Mexico, we did it electronically. So you don't have to have someone be physically present.
Correct.
If you're both committed to it, you can do it we have so much available to us with our social media and electronics. But certainly if you have someone in your life that's present to do it. I mean, there were days where I would try to explain something to Penny, and I was like being super vigilant, aware, and the conversation would be, and I'm trying to think of the word to replace the word that I know that would be the best opportunity, and you would just sit there and laugh and go, I know exactly what was going through your brain.
So one of your favorite words, I don't know if you remember this, was frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
That was what I'm like, Sandra, stop. Pick a different word. Don't say that. Don't say that. You're drawing that energy to you. So I know you would say, oh, I'm so frustrated. No, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah. You're learning lessons. This is a lesson to learn.
And what word did you come up with in place of frustration?
Opportunity.
Yes, opportunity.
A new opportunity. Opportunity became one of my favorite words, and I don't see it on your
list. It's right here.
Oh, there it is. Yes.
It's for, where did it go to? Choose, determine, possibly.
Well, actually, Penny, since you're the author of that, why don't you just go line by line and read the negatives that we need to stop saying and possibilities for what we can say instead.
So instead of saying, I need to do this, because it really is a negative connotation. Like you're making
it's
yourself
creating
feel
a need
bad.
for something.
Yeah, I don't need anything.
So I choose to do this. I choose to sleep in. I choose to take a nap. I choose to clean my house, or I choose to not.
Just hearing you say that, I could feel the change in my vibration.
Really?
From need to choose.
Yes.
Because I was going in my head, I was thinking of the things I would choose to do.
I don't think you're done.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, line by line.
I have
There's quite a few lines there.
And determine. I have, instead of use the word need, use the word determine. Why did I have that on there? I determine. Anyway, determine is on there somehow.
Okay.
Make a decision, and I don't know.
Well, it's a cognitive thought process.
I'm
determined.
Possibly. So instead of saying, well, I might possibly do that, it's absolutely. If you want to have something done, don't say, well, possibly I might be able to do that, or it might be possible. Just say, no, absolutely, I am doing that.
I want to revisit absolutely when you're done with that.
Okay, so we'll remember absolutely. Bad. That's another one. Oh, I'm having a bad day. I can't believe this is happening. This is so bad. No, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for learning. It's an opportunity to change your route, to change your thinking, to move in a different pattern.
And it's also an opportunity to let go of judgments.
Yes.
And just look at the isness of things, or the absolute of something.
Oh, there you go.
You know, in our judgments, we're always right or wrong, but in the absolute, there is no right or wrong.
You know, and I heard recently, actually, just yesterday, when I was rollerblading, I was listening to a podcast, and I heard someone say, oh, that is so bad, that's wrong. And someone said, no, there is no wrong or right. They're choices. Everything is a choice. Don't give it a label.
Every choice is an opportunity for learning.
Yes. Don't assign a label of right or wrong. It's a choice. You made a choice at that time in your life, and then it created
an experience.
Yes, an experience. That's it. Don't judge it as good or bad. It was a learning opportunity, and it was a choice. So I like that too. Instead of saying something is wrong or right. I mean, right sounds good, but you're also judging. Instead of saying something is wrong or bad, it was a choice.
You know, that sounds really right to me.
There you go.
Just teasing.
And want is not good. I want to be a millionaire.
Right, because you're creating the experience of wanting.
And
If you were a millionaire, you wouldn't want.
Right.
You would have.
yes. So a better word is I choose. So you can use choose multiple times in here. Or desire. Desire actually is a better word than want. I desire that. And I'm not quite sure why, but I read this somewhere and I wrote it down.
Okay.
One, I desire.
I need to get out the dictionary and look up the definitions
know.
for want and
It's a
desire.
Okay, well, I'm taking it on the feeling level. So
Actually,
you could read the book. So when I was just saying that, mumbling it to myself, thought, well, the desire actually does give me a better.
yeah, it
Yes.
does make me feel better
Feeling.
too when I think it.
And the next word is try. Excuse me, try. Now this doesn't seem like it would make that big of a deal, but it really should be wiped out of like little kids' vocabulary. And as you're aging and growing older, because when you say, okay, I'll try to meet you there. That really means you're not going to do it. Like if you're trying to teach a little kid something,
To try something new.
yeah, don't try this. Say, you can do it. And committed. As an adult, you can say, okay, I'm committed. I'm committed to do this. Because if you really want something, you have to be committed to it.
Otherwise,
So
don't say anything in the first place if
Right.
you're not committed.
Don't try it. You're committed.
Right.
So when you said try, I never heard it that way. The way I just heard it in my mind was, if you try is almost like you're setting them up with, you can fail with.
Yes.
So when I heard you say you can try, I'm hearing, well, you're probably going to fail, but give it a chance.
Yes.
You know, and most of the neurological pathways in the brain are created. Actually, I found out the brain is most active in the womb. That's when most of the neural pathways are being formed. But in the first 3 months of a child's experience is when they're mapping out in their brain how they're going to react to the universe or the world around them for the rest of their lives. So when we're teaching a toddler, instead of saying try and use the word commit, that's teaching the child something totally different and
Yes.
empowering them. Commit, succeed,
Yep.
success.
So I have a quick little story, and this has to do with just this weekend, but it also is, words also follow along with the power of thought and visualization and imagination, which is what Dr. Joe teaches us. You use all of it together to create what you want. So my granddaughter
You're not old enough to have a granddaughter.
I have two. I love them to death. Oh, no. See, that's not good. Did you hear me?
Love them to death?
I love them. I love them to life. I love them to eternity. See, right there. That is a perfect
That-
example.
it is.
You don't say that.
And it's
And
just
if
so
we-
I love
common
you
in
to
our
life.
vernacular in America.
I love you for. I love them. What can we say?
Eternally.
I love them
I love
eternally.
that.
Yeah. So I try not to use that. Or anyway, I'm
You
gonna.
probably, if we weren't talking about this, you probably wouldn't even
Right.
have realized it.
She has been doggy paddling and swimming above water, but she hasn't wanted to put her head underneath the water. And she always asks me, "How can I do this?" And I said,
Well, Sandra and I were both lifeguards as teenagers, so we got some tools and hints for that one.
well, it's all good, but in the process, I told her, just see in your head, in your mind that you're doing it. See yourself going under the water and touching the bottom, and you can do it. Say, I can do it. I am doing this. This is easy. I can do this.
I
This
can
is
do
easy.
it.
She literally was saying it out loud, no matter who was listening. And guess what? She's swimming underwater
Wow.
all weekend long. And so even when we're at playgrounds and she's learning how to use the monkey bars, she's like, I can do this. Now it's in her head. She doesn't even need an adult to tell her. She
Forgive
just
me
says,
for
I can do it.
My slow comprehension. The word can, wouldn't that set up a negative too? Because it's not an affirmative.
I'm not sure
I can.
because I don't know if I can tell a
Versus
little
I do.
child yet I am doing this.
Right.
I'm not sure. But yeah,
Okay.
I was thinking that too. But for her, it's working. I can do this. This is easy. I can do this. And she literally
Yeah, it's
says
definitely
it. And I tell her, see it in your head, see it in your mind. If you see it in your mind and do it over and over again, you will be doing it. Don't worry. You are doing it. And by golly, she did it. And now I couldn't get her out of the water.
God, she's so lucky to have you in her life because you're setting her up for success in every aspect.
Well,
in her future.
Her mother, too. My daughter does it, too, because
Yeah.
my daughter's into this. So my daughter was doing that with her, too. But anyway, that's a perfect example of using both words and your imagination, which it doesn't seem like that would be the right word, but Dr. Joe says that. Bruce Lipton says that. Greg Braden says that. Your imagination creates
Right.
everything. Einstein said that, too.
Yeah.
And your imagination takes you everywhere. And when you feel it and believe it, and you feel love in your heart center, bang, you
I was
just
so
created
happy
it.
because I have a very active fantasy life that it was affirmed that fantasies are good and powerful. It was a relief that I wasn't wasting my time. I was actually
See?
creating my
Imagination is good. That's what I teach the girls.
future. Daydreaming. I used to get nailed for daydreaming all the time.
Oh, but it's
Mom
the best thing.
Mom had to go to school a lot for both of us.
Okay, so after try,
But so I do want to go back to the thinking though, because we're really focused on our interactions and our words, but we spend the majority of our time in our thoughts.
yes,
I do want
we
to reinforce that our thoughts are so important because I really focus on like no news. I've really changed the music that I've listened to.
Oh,
Words
yes.
to music could be really.
And I think of songs that I would sing repeatedly as like my anthem songs, and I really didn't connect the power in all of that because I do love music. But when I stopped, watching the news and following it on the internet and being consumed with that, it really did affect my mood. I will even say when we do our gratitudes, when I do my gratitudes in the morning with you, I feel better and it sets the tone for my day. When I'm doing them at 11 o'clock or getting them in at midnight, really over the other day, they still have power to them, but it's not the same as when I do them early in the day.
I know. I agree. That's why we have to get back on track in the morning when we get up.
Setting the stage for the rest of the day.
Just so you know, Penny's it's going to be a hard one to pick up, so maybe you could another way to say it. She's a bit of a drill sergeant with this, so recently...
It's that Virgo rising.
So recently she was watching a YouTube and she said, we have to up our game. I need to talk to you. Like, you need to give me a call. I was just watching this YouTube. I'm at work and she's watching the kids at the pool watching a YouTube. And she goes, we have to up our game on our gratitudes. Like, we're not doing this enough. And you told me about we had met up later that week and I watched the video with you. But we are now doubling our gratitude.
Yes.
Initially, it was like, okay, this is really cool, it's good. But then there's, I know the word I always use that drives you nuts, struggle.
Struggle. That's
because I was going to say, and I thought I'm just going to throw it out there. I would have did one of my to get out a different word.
How frustrating.
Oh, what a learning opportunity. What a learning opportunity.
It is. But now we've upped our game on our gratitudes, and it makes a difference.
And
you're so enthusiastic when you're telling me this is our new present moment.
And if you smile, I've noticed this.
Oh.
If you smile while you're texting your gratitudes or writing them or talking to someone, it's almost as though you're meditating. You're bringing those positive hormones with you because when you smile, it literally changes your biology.
Well, there's a style of yoga where you just sit there and laugh. And at first, it's an effort and you're forcing yourself to laugh and you feel totally ridiculous. But boy, after 5 minutes of doing it, you are laughing from the gut and having a wonderful time, being happy and loving.
Creates lots and lots of serotonin in your body. It's good.
It is. I've actually been doing research on that because it's something I want to bring to the retreats.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I thought, how cool, because we don't laugh or smile enough.
No.
Okay, 2 more words.
Okay.
And I'll just shoot them out. Maybe and hope.
Oh, hope is a biggie. Well, go with both of them because they're both significant.
Maybe if someone asks you to do something, you're like, oh, maybe. It's either yes or no. You're either committed or you're not committed, not a maybe. And it's not just for the benefit of other people. It's just the energy of that word.
Being true to yourself.
Good. Yes, and hope is When you hope for something, again, it's like you're lacking it.
And, and think about what you're gifting to the people you're speaking to. Instead of setting up an expectation where they may be disappointed, you're being definitive on whatever you're choosing to do.
And if you do read and follow or do research on how the scientists who have studied frequencies of feelings, and on the scale they've measured it, they have certain what's the word?
Vibrational waves.
They have
frequencies.
No, they have computers.
They have amplifiers.
They have They have all their special scientific ways of
that
measuring.
turn it into a visual that you can measure
of the feelings, the wishes. So if the feeling of love is high up on the frequency scale, well, hope really is not. Believe it or not, it's down there by anger, and I don't have that scale in front of me.
Is it really by anger? Because I think
because anger's not as low as you think.
Really?
Yeah, because when you express anger, it releases. It's a release. So but like fear is way down at the bottom. Fear, envy, greed is way down at the bottom. Love, joy. What's the other one? Love, joy, and there's another one that's a top 3. But you would think hope would be near the top. It's not, actually. It's not. So they say don't say hope, because hope is really, I hope I get better. I hope I get better.
It's lack.
It's lack.
Yeah. Because it's just, they use it in religion, and they go ahead.
Oh, finish your thought. Just,
For those of you who can't see, Mark's raising his hand like
I
in
want to
school.
talk next.
That was so cute. Hello,
I got
teacher.
something to say. Hurry it up.
Okay. Well, I always thought, everything's about hope. And when, in religious circles, a lot of times it's hope. And even in medicine, it's all about the hope. And it's only been recently where I realized that hope wasn't a good word, but it's always put out there as that's what you want. It's written on shirts and coffee cups and everything is you have to have hope. And I thought, I feel like we're going down the wrong path with this.
Yep.
And then you just said what you had to say.
And intuitively, you knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Mark? Go.
I wanted to use what you said about words having a vibrational frequency. Let's talk about swear words for a minute. We're taught to avoid certain words because from some cultural aspect or religious aspect, they're deemed not nice or negative or...
They're not acceptable.
Right.
And I'm very curious to hear what you're going to say about this, because we all know I swear a lot.
It's not necessarily the word, because the words in themselves really don't have a vibrational frequency. If you're putting a negative vibrational frequency to any word, it can lower the vibration of that word and make it and turn it into a negative. What I'm going to use is a benign word like, damn. Of course, that's obvious that that's a negative and you're cursing something. But a lot of people, substitute that word for something like fudge. Well, still, if you're putting that negative energy around something wonderful like fudge, it still has the same lower frequency impact as the negative word itself. So you have to be careful about the emotion you're putting in behind your words.
Right.
Someone could go, damn.
You look good.
Yeah. So that's a positive.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking another common word that we use that I won't say, because I don't want to offend anybody if they would be offended. But, this word could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It depends on the inflection or the...
Yes. And that's how it works.
Or the situation where you're using it. It could be a blessing or it could be a curse.
Yep, it is. And it's also in the tone of your voice when you say it, too. Like music.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
What this book shows, Dr. Emoto, his study on water and how words affect water. I think we talked about this briefly in another podcast, but it affects plants the same way.
Yes.
Words, emotions, and music affect the plants. And so I do this, of course. But
when she goes out of town, I pick up for her. I was going to say I pick up the slack, but I can't say that.
I speak love into my water. I actually do what Dr. Joe, I learned through Dr. Joe and Bruce Lipton. I mean, this might sound really weird, but It's true. I fill up a huge Vitamix pitcher of water from my filtered water, and I hug it around my chest. I close my eyes, and I send it love and give it love, 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 love until I feel and I start swaying like I do with Dr. Joe in his meditations. And then I water my plants with that high vibrational water. And as I'm watering my plants, I say, I love you. And this is the truth, the honest to God's truth for people listening who know me, who didn't know this and think I'm weird. This is true. And that's why my plants flourish. And I touch them and I caress them like a leaf. And I say, I love you. Thank you. And I do that to all my plants. And my granddaughters know it too.
I'm gonna ante up on that because my water filter pitcher on my kitchen counter is covered with positive words written all over it. I never thought of actually holding the pitcher to my chest and sending it love.
We do that too. We have hearts drawn on it and everything.
Yeah, we do that, and you've been doing that for decades.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I do have to
It works.
I do have to fess up to you. I don't hold the water close to my chest and tell it I love it before I water the plants. But I do talk to the plants and tell them that you'll be home soon and that they're being well cared for and it's all good.
Why is it easier to talk to a plant than it is a human?
I don't know. They listen.
I know, it's wonderful.
They listen.
I've always considered myself a savant when it came to plants and gardenings. You know, it's just nothing ever dies for me, and I'm at one with them. And I swear to God, I had this one ficus tree in my living room that I would walk past, and I could actually feel it saying, "Hey, when you going to water me? I'm thirsty."
Like, uh-oh, I got to stop now. No, they're a living creature, and it's not just in our heads. There's lots and lots and lots of studies, just like the water studies.
Yeah.
In fact, I did my own study. Oh, that's another thing. Water. When I go out of town, I play classical music for my plants and a cat. But I did what do you call it? An experiment, a science experiment. I was in 6th grade, and I was in 6th grade, and I had plants. I played what's it called? Heavy metal, the hard heavy metal music to one plant, and I played nice, soft, I don't know if it was classical music. I don't know what the music was. And the plant with the heavy metal died. It just drooped. I gave it the same amount of water. They had the same amount of sunlight. And the plant that was hearing the harsh sounds and tones and the words of the heavy metal, it pretty much died. And the other one flourished.
That doesn't surprise me.
And that was my own experiment, not a college level experiment.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously it all speaks to us. And I think that intuitively we've all known this for a long time. But, I mean, every day we're still learning new stuff. I mean, the whole hope thing, for whatever reason, has been hitting me the last couple of months.
I always say as long as you're on the earth plane, there's something yet to learn.
Yes.
It's all an opportunity.
Every day.
If you had finished all your lessons, you'd be moving on to another realm.
Yep. You're going to the other side. That's why we're here to learn and to help others.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some thoughts? I know we do the gratitude and we hold each other accountable with our words. Things the listeners might be able to do to...
Find a friend like you two have.
That's what I was going to suggest also.
Somebody who can monitor you in a positive way and correct you when you're going down the wrong road with the wrong word.
Well, that is part of it that makes it easy, is that you're always... I won't say you're always non-judgmental.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you are, but you always do it with kindness. So I never feel any level of intimidation, or it's comfortable doing it. But you know what's interesting, Mark? It's not that easy, because I was really jonesing for a gratitude partner when I was in New Mexico, and part of the other problem was I had connectivity issues because we were high up, we were on the reservations, and a lot of people take internet and those things for granted, and there are a lot of places in the United States that truly don't have that. And I asked 3 different people when I felt I had developed some sort of a relationship with them, and had a bit of a positive if it would be something that they would be interested or willing to do with me, and they said they would get back to me, and they never did.
So that maybe set you up for an expectation that did not get fulfilled.
If you don't have an accountability partner or a friend, then someone can simply just write gratitudes. It doesn't have to be in paragraph form. It can just be a simple open up a book or a piece of paper, and like you and I do, for instance, I am so grateful for the energy of the full moon last night. I am so grateful that I have a nice, soft, comfy bed. It could literally be anything. I'm grateful for my beautiful, peaceful condo that I live in. I'm thankful and grateful that I am able to walk the beach every day. It could be little. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be unusual. It's everyday things.
Well, part of the other part of this that we didn't share with people is once you use the gratitude that you're grateful for, you can't repeat it.
Oh, that's right. So you can't repeat it.
That's a challenge.
So I can't say I'm grateful for
the same
my
thing,
daughter,
night
my
after
son,
night after
or
night.
The dog or whatever every day. It's always something new, and it does make you focus on like the simplicity. Like I loved the cool breeze on my face when I left for work after all that heat last night,
and that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But that adds a little bit to it when you do the no repeating.
It makes sense.
I'm telling you,
because then you can't cop out.
Right. And it forces you
Probably not a good
to
word.
be appreciative of anything and everything in your life.
Yes.
The simple things that you just take for granted, or things that you wouldn't, normally think of. But if you didn't have them in your life, where would you be? So thank you, universe, that I have a toilet 10 feet from me.
Yes,
2, 3, 4 in the morning when I'm getting up to pee.
Oh, trust me, we've had some interesting gratitudes.
I mean, our gratitudes go. I mean, they encompass everything. Even I don't know if you noticed,
and we have used the bathroom aspects more than once.
Yes, but we even turn what some people would feel is a negative interaction. We turn it into a gratitude. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, you may have used that in today's gratitude, or was that today's Monday? It was in. I won't say it out loud, but it was an interaction that Sandra had with someone, and she turned it into. It could have been a very negative.
Oh, I think you should read it because you can't connect it to a person. And after I sent it, before you commented on it, I thought, my God, I am making personal growth. And Mark has his hand up again.
I got the best example. I'm the most spiritual of people until I get behind the wheel of a car.
Uh-oh.
So instead of being negative about the people around me hampering my progress from point A to point B, when something happens, I can say, thank you for the opportunity to practice patience and forgiveness, etc.
Yep, it is. And along those lines, with road rage or whatever, I learned this years ago, and I did it religiously forever, that as I'm driving down the road, I send love. I love you. If someone would cut me off, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I always say, I always arrive on time, safely and on time to my destination.
How powerful.
I say it over and over, and it's in the present tense.
And that's like the parking angel.
Yes.
Yeah. Where you're on your way to a destination and you start imaging that you find the perfect parking place in a downtown area where they're few and far between.
Right.
But so when you're driving like that and you're using that as an opportunity to send love to everybody, you're creating that loving environment for you to navigate in.
Yes. And if you do that all the time.
I'm getting goosebumps. How powerful is that?
Well, just recently we went to that outdoor play in downtown, and we were going downtown, and you said, "Okay, everyone in the car, I need you to think positive thoughts
that we can get in this parking garage,
get in the parking garage, and this and that
for free."
Yeah, and I'm sitting in the back seat, and they're having their dialogue, and I said, the parking gate will be open when we get there. And we pulled up, and Mark's like, oh, my God, the parking gate's open.
And I flew into that ramp and up and parked the car for free. Loved it. Thank you, Sandra.
You're welcome. And someone turned around and said, didn't you say that? I said, I'm feeling very powerful today.
See, this is why it pays to be spiritual and positive and focus on our energies and our words, our thoughts and emotions. Yeah. It's amazing.
In every moment of every day.
Okay, so one of Sandra's gratitudes this morning was, I am grateful I am able to walk away from the queen mean girl who is baiting me this morning.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And just a simple one. I'm grateful I feel awake at the moment.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
well, how
'cause
simple is that?
that was simple because
Yeah.
you and I were up till 1:30 last night.
Watching the
Watching
lunar
the-
eclipse.
The lunar eclipse, and
blood moon.
and I had to get up at 6 in the morning.
I mean, literally, I even
Yeah.
mine are more personal, but our gratitudes are amazing. So if you don't have an accountability partner, everyone can. It's not that, oh, I don't have one. All you have to do is ask your best friend, ask your mom, ask whoever it is. And if you don't, then write gratitudes down every day, because when you put the pen to paper, that increases the energy. And if you say it out loud, it sends it out into the universe also.
Okay, I got something on the lines of that. Mm-hmm. Okay, you engage with somebody and they do that and they're successful at it, but it triggers you in a negative way and you just want to reach out and punch them in the face and say, leave me alone.
Oh, okay.
Where's that negative energy coming from? Our negative reaction to change, to our negative reaction to
Well,
being
there's
judged, or
there's something inside of you that you have to work on. There's like something that you're holding back, your shadow. You need to release it. And I would just say you need to meditate, do deep breathing, and just send whoever it is love.
Because I think a lot of people would love to do this, but to make change causes some sort of stress
Oh,
it
in
makes
your
people-
person's life. Can we
So I was
gift them with something to get past that? Because I just don't want people to listen and say, wow, that's great, and then not think about it once they tune us out. I want to give them the tools to succeed in making
tune
these
us out.
changes.
tune us out.
Turn us off? Turn us out? Was that a negative?
No,
no,
I'm just messing
no,
with you.
no.
We always talk
and the
about
other
turn
thing,
on, tune off, turn on. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like those words come up every episode.
Because you have to be motivated to make the effort to make changes in your life.
This is a commitment.
I'm committed.
So the motivation is just a better experience.
It makes you
a
feel good.
happier experience.
And like,
it's healing. It's self-care.
yeah,
Self-care.
It's
Love
growing.
that.
it's like someone reached out to me yesterday or the day before who was feeling mildly, well, maybe a little bit more than mildly, but depressed or down, didn't want to get out of bed. What can I do? It's the energies of the moon. And so we were texting back and forth. And a lot of it is you have to make that first move. Like when you're upset, just start smiling. The easiest thing to do is force yourself to smile. It sounds stupid, but honest to God, this has been studied too. It creates those positive hormones in your body.
Wonderful.
See, there you go. I had to get my point across.
No,
but
I
you
know.
smile and laugh. Watch videos that are funny. Don't watch anything on Netflix that's sappy. It's a sad love story. Only watch funny videos, smile, and get outside barefoot and ground. Walk on the beach, get in the water, walk on the grass, hug a tree. I do that too.
Oh, I
Lean
love
against a
hugging
tree.
trees.
The energy is exponential.
Yes.
It'll lift your spirits. But when you sit inside a house, especially a dark house, because depressed people usually don't open their blinds, it makes it worse. You have to take that first step to get outside. I even said, put all of your clothes, your shoes, a water bottle next to your bed on the floor. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, you have no choice but to go pee, get dressed, and go outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, even I think walking down the street and you're in that work environment and you're walking down the hall and you just nod and smile at people as you're going by,
Yes.
whether or not they react to you or not, it makes you feel good.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I know when I start my morning off with good morning, or the smile and the nods, even if they don't smile or nod back, I feel better.
Yep, I do too.
So I used to say, used to be my moniker, be happy. That's a positive be, because that's
Yeah.
being in the moment. Be happy.
Yes,
In
for
this
sure.
moment, be happy.
Happy is the new norm.
It's the new norm. Okay.
It is the norm. Well, great.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So let's wind this episode up.
Oh, but before we do, I want to caution everybody now in future podcasts, we will be correcting one another whenever we
Good.
accidentally
good,
use
good.
a negative word. So
Yes.
please be amused.
Yes,
Yes.
because it is being done in love. I want to thank our listeners for joining us. And remember, embrace that wild soul.
Yes.
We've got this. Everyone's got this. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we look forward to next time.
And
Thank
thanks
you.
for the opportunity.
Thank
I
you.
came in
This is
feeling
great.
kind of tired and depressed, and now I feel happy and rejuvenated and
Good.
energized.
I will say your mood has shifted from when you came in. I knew that you were sort of like, I didn't.
Oh, no. He loves it. He's a Leo.
Oh, this is where I live.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Love everyone.
I'd like to thank our guests for joining us for this episode of Wild Souls Gatherings Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious. To find out more about our guests, how to contact them, or detail on this episode, please see our show notes. You can also visit us at our website, wildsoulsgathering.com. We would love to hear from our visitors what you thought of this show, what you would like to see and hear in the future, questions you may have. Go to podinbox.com/happy hour for the spiritually curious. You can leave either a voice or traditional message for us. This is your host, Dr. Sandra Marie, sending each of you peace and love. Until we meet again, embrace your wild soul.